Hello everyone and welcome to my channel and welcome back to another song review for Eurovision 2025. Today I'm turning to the Ukrainian entry for Eurovision. It's called Bird of Prey by the group Ziferblat, and this is arguably the most difficult one for me to make so far anyway, because this is a rather complex little tune in all honesty. It has a lot of kind of chaotic aspects about it in its arrangement. It's very complex in terms of its composition, and it has a lot of playful little rhythmic distinctions. So hopefully I can get some of my points across quite clearly in today's video. I'll try and highlight the things that I like in particular as we listen to the song here together. But if I'm missing something, then hopefully that's okay as well, because there's a lot to really delve into with this track, and I think I'll just prioritize trying to get my point across about what I really like about it. So let's hopefully that will go well. Let's take a listen to it and start off by just confirming the fact that I really like this kind of opening. It has a bit of a heavenly tone about it. The vocal style, you know, here it's very wide, it's kind of angelic in its tone, and then you got a really neat guitar finger picking behind it as well. Also quite nice how it picks up here in the second half of it. There you go, a little bit of a layer. The percussion joins in as well. Very nice build for the opening part. And what happens then? These proper like whiplash effect of very harsh hits, completely, you know, just kind of putting a lot of punch on the rhythm that we're going to be established to throughout the verses. I love the fact that they break up the instrumental so much, like every time the hit comes, everything else goes quiet, and the vocal is so in your face, it's heavily layered, it's just wide and loud, kind of like they're shouting at you. And that breakup, it's definitely a mood shift right from the beginning, and that kind of sets the tone of what we can expect throughout the rest of the song, as we'll figure out when we listen to it. Let's just keep it going. We've got a nice little rhythm going on here, again with very distinct hits. So the switch up here is, of course, like the first time around, you got the break between the rhythmic hits, and then you got the one that just follows the 1, 2, 3, 4 beat, right on the beat. And this kind of rhythmic approach that it's using, it definitely emphasizes the drive of the track and the punchiness of it, and you definitely feel like the rhythm is being so in focus when you listen to it. It's quite fascinating, really, and a lot of fun, I gotta say. Along with that, you know, just loud and expressive vocal that we kind of get shouted at us, not in an off-putting way, I would say. I find it quite charming as well. Just love these kind of breaks that they do here, and then put in the full beat. Nice little drumming here, solid fills. You feel like there's a lot of things going on with the drumming, really. Like it's a very what do you say, like substantial drum pattern throughout this as well, which is quite fun. Nice little fills as well, leading in to just a continuation, like so many layers of the vocals as well. It's quite mad, really. It just works really well so far, you know. A little bit of a breakdown section. And what you hear there is like how the vocals just kind of follow that chord, like the ascendant movement of the chords here for this little breakdown part as it leads forwards to the chorus. How the vocal melody just aligns with that movement of chords. It's very pleasant to listen to, and I feel like it really provides a lot of tension to the track, and you really want to figure out where are we actually heading with this movement. It's really nice. Let's just listen to it once more. It's like this kind of very smooth motion from the bass there as well, how it gradually ascends with the melody. And this is kind of like the chorus part of the track. It's maybe not like melodically the most catchy and instantaneous, but it's at the same time, it kind of breaks up the song quite nicely, and it definitely has a pleasant tone about it. I think the vocal performance throughout the song is actually really charming and a lot of fun. And these choruses, they kind of highlight as well a lot of substance in the instrumental, for sure. And again, pretty chaotic. Like there's a lot of playfulness with what kind of approach you take in every single part of the track, because you never really know what to expect next, and that is quite a refreshing take, really. Many of these like elongated notes as well with an ascendant approach to them. And the little held out chord there, a little bit more of the tension, and then you don't really know what you're supposed to expect next. It feels like it's moving into a calm section, but since we know what to expect from before, when the opening of the track really hit, what were we greeted with after the little calm and sweet opening? Well, you know what to expect. This is of course like the intro section of the track again, the fills. And back with this like proper aggressive and intense rhythmic intensity here, very distinct. And one of these like very easily head nod friendly parts of the track if you're, if you're accepting towards what it tries to do here. I think the style of everything could easily be very off-putting, but I'm kind of hooked by it. I'm not gonna lie. It took me a few listens to really warm up to it, but I think this is really fun, and definitely this proper punchy approach that it goes for during these more hard-hitting verses. They are quite fun and very addictive to me anyway, so I like the way they work here. Again with the ascending chords here, moving unexpectedly. A lot of warmth here as well, just kind of covering the entire soundstage as well. Feels very complete here. And again, the vocals just kind of carrying something special in there as well. Again, with this really tense chord that's holding out the long note here. It's, within the kind of scale that we got, there are a lot of movements and you don't really know what to expect in terms of the actual chord progression going on here. They borrow chords from other scales and they just kind of play around with it. There's really no proper framework about what they want to do with this song. They go by their own rules, and they somehow, it could easily, just fall flat on its face, but the way that everything is just built around the concept of being playful and being completely outside the box just makes everything feel reasonable, really, within it. And I just love how they hold out this really tense chord, because it leaves kind of like an open an open book for the continuation of the track, because it could go either direction. You don't really know. You can expect something and you can predict it based on what you've heard before, but what do they do here after the second chorus? We'll find out very, very soon enough, of course. Incredibly tense chord here. All of a sudden we get a breakdown section, a bit more gritty with the distortion here, half step on the drumming, picking up the energy here, going full time instead. And a wonderful fill there into a completely brand new part of the track, which, again kind of highlights this soft and very mellow sound, again with this kind of heavenly tone and atmosphere within it. And it just kind of keeps you throwing these curveballs at you. It could be a very, very, distracting listen, really, because you don't really know what to grab onto when you listen to the track. Or it could be just a fascinating listen and a fascinating experience to sit through and really take in. And I'm leaning more towards the latter, as you can probably tell. This part of the track I find very unique, because the thing is, they sneak in a little bit of a key change here, which, it's kind of done seamlessly because it's such an abrupt change, so you're more like focusing on the fact that it's such an abrupt change that you actually don't notice that the key change is so abrupt as well. Because if we just kind of highlight it here, this is where we are, and then the complete breakup, and we've ascended, we've elevated a half step, and this is what we're going to maintain throughout the rest of the track. Again, melodically, it's kind of the chorus, but we got a brand new instrumental backing it up. Just a lot of warm and wide and heavily reverbed sounds. And of course, what's gonna happen here is the drumming comes in, along with the guitars and the bass. And those breakups, like, what can you even say? Rhythmically distinct again, playing around with the dynamics massively here because of how distinctly these hit. You really showcase both the loudness and the expression of the actual hits while contrasting that with the proper, complete silence, because you actually break up the sound so much during these hits. Great build up. It's like they're suffocating all of the sound. Really fun. I think that hits really hard. There's something very, very mellow about the movement and all of that as well, you know? I love these kind of, I think we're gonna call them strings. I'm not sure what they actually are, but I'm gonna call them strings because they're just kind of swaying around, moving vividly within the soundscape here. Not really kind of taking over anything, but they just have a little bit of a presence there to make sure that there's a constant motion in everything, you know, kind of like an extra layer within it all, which I find really charming as well. And of course, I think you probably noticed there as well, they have another one of these rhythmic distinctions that they just throw in there because, you know, it's kind of fun. There you go again, and a little bit of like a sound effect as well, leading into the finale, really. And back kind of with the intro aspect of the track here, or the concept there, with this sweet finger picking, the secondary vocal, and holding out there the final note. It's really just sweetly put together, very enjoyable. It's a listen that's definitely difficult to latch onto. I feel like if you're not embracing the absolute kind of madness in terms of its composition, then you're gonna hate it probably. But to me, I'm just kind of fascinated by what they set out to do with it. It's not one of these songs that I see myself returning to that frequently and just enjoying it, because I don't find it to be particularly catchy or memorable in that sense, but like melodically it's not really something I find to be that strong. However, it's just kind of that chaotic playfulness that they have with both the arrangement and mainly the songwriting of this track, because they take unexpected and unpredictable motions and developments from, you know, from kind of out of thin air and just throw them into the track, and they utilize that so much that they make their own world of this song kind of feel like all of that is reasonable and all of that is something that you can expect, and that just feels like, yeah, it's a proper solution to what they have. And I find that to be quite a fascinating aspect of it all. The instrumentation I find to be very, very strong. I love the guitar work in this track. I think the drumming is some of the best in this year's Eurovision for sure. It's incredibly skillfully played, and there are a lot of fun fills. And the fact that they use rhythmic distinctions so much, they really play around with the dynamics, that's a huge, huge plus in my book. Vocally, you know, melodically, as I said, not particularly catchy, but vocally it's also very expressive. I really like the parts where you got like the more brighter, very wide backing vocal that's kind of, you know, in these softer parts of the track. Fills out the soundscape really nicely, and it becomes a very nice contrast to the more hard-hitting and gritty parts of the track as well. And yeah, it's a proper listen experience. Whether you enjoy that experience or not, that's a completely subjective thing. And I see why this song is very difficult to grasp onto for people, if that's the case. I mean, I personally found it very difficult to really latch onto this track the first few times I heard it, because I felt it was very disjointed or somewhat chaotic. But the more that I've kind of just come to terms with what they set out to do, the more I learn to appreciate it and the more I find my enjoyment in it. It's not a song that I seek out to listen to that frequently, but it is a song that I am fascinated by. It's a song that piques my interest, and it's a song that I definitely admire and appreciate. And it's something that I think, you know, a group of musical experts, jurors, whatever, should definitely, you know, kind of seek out and be like, okay, they're doing a lot of unexpected and fun things here. Should probably reward them for that. However, if that's going to happen, I do not know. But please let me know what you think of the song from Ukraine this year in Eurovision. Is it too much for you, or is it, you know, something that you really love, or maybe something completely different? Please let me know if you want to in the comment sections below. And also, of course, please join me for another review that hopefully I'll post soon on my channel. I have no idea what country I'll talk about next, but there will probably be a few more reviews coming up in the near future before Eurovision actually takes place. It's only a month away now, and it really feels like we're getting there. But yeah, thank you so much for watching today's video. Hopefully it's been okay to watch, and hopefully I'll see you again very, very soon. Take care of yourselves until then, though, and bye for now.